Easy guys, Careless here, and welcome back to another episode discussion. Episode 93, you're the 10th warrior, Goku goes to see Frieza. So, yeah, this episode, I don't know, it was kind of cool in places. I feel there was some copy-paste. Definitely felt like there's some copy-paste. Who was happy to see Kaba get the pounding he deserved? I know I was. So the episode starts off with Goku obviously bringing up the fact that he's going to go and speak to Frieza. And of course, everybody's freaking their nut. They're like, why on earth would you bring a psychopath back? He has no inherently good quality. This isn't like the previous times where Goku has managed to convince them to be good guys like he's done with pretty much every villain slash antagonist that he's come across. He always convinces them to be good. Frieza's the exception. Frieza is just bad and evil, and that's his character, and he always will be that case. So they're convinced that this is a terrible, terrible decision. But he explains to them that actually he's not going to wish him back. That would be stupid. That he's going to get fortune teller Barber to bring him back for 24 hours. So he flies off to go do that. Now, I'll be honest. I'll be very honest. I think that this is a bluff. I really don't know if we're gonna get to see Frieza fight. I've been thinking this for a while, and that it's just you know, again, a little bit of fan service, and that we'll end up getting Boo anyway. But I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'll hold my hand up. I think it's because I secretly just don't want Frieza in it. I mean, he's a cool character, but I really wanted to see Boo. I feel like the skinny Boo was a real missed opportunity. I just like his techniques. I did a video discussing techniques, and one of the ones I really wanted to see in a Tournament of Power was one of his. I'll leave a link to that video somewhere in this one, so if you want to check that out, by all means, feel free to. So we cut from this to Universe 6, where it continues straight on from the last point, where Caulifla is basically figuring out how the Super Saiyan form works, and is so excited she's trying to convince Kale to check it out. Now, Kale's character is kind of weird, or at least just in general, it feels like the Saiyans of Universe 6 are generally quite a whimpery lot. Although they have inherently fighting skills, they seem to be very unconfident and timid in comparison to the Universe 7's version of the Saiyans, and maybe that's just down to the fact that they are much more compassionate race than our version. But I don't particularly enjoy her like whimperiness, but it did have a fucking amazing payoff. So she struggles to go Super Saiyan, so both Kaba and Caulifla are just giving her shit the whole time. They're literally trying to insult her, but whilst one insults her, the other person is like trying to defend her. It's a really weird like Three Stooges thing kind of going on. I don't know. Thought a bit odd. Eventually she starts just putting herself down, and she starts to get really emotional, and she goes Super Saiyan, but her Super Saiyan form is like the Broly form. Now, it's not a shock to anyone who's been watching the teasers, who's checked the trailers. We knew this form was coming. But what I found interesting was the fact that she had what appeared to be complete loss of control. I thought that it was just going to be a form that she could control, but much like Broly from the movies, she doesn't really seem to have any control of herself whilst in this form. In fact, she tries to kill Kaba, and this is one of the funniest, although it wasn't intentionally funny, one of the best bits of the episode is where she's just literally pounding on him, and Caulifla's doing nothing but compliment her. We do cut to Universe 4, briefly in between these two like stories, the Frieza and the Kale storylines, where basically it turns out that the God of Destruction for Universe 4, whose name I wrote down, Quitello? I could be getting this wrong. I don't know how to pronounce it. But basically, the Mouse God of Destruction has actually had his followers, or, you know, the people who work for him, basically spying on Universe 7 to try and figure out. Now, their angel slash... actually, it wasn't their angel. I was wrong. It wasn't their angel. It was their... Supreme Kai? There you go. Supreme Kai. He's like, you can't spy. We'll get in trouble. And he's like, wow, if Zeno don't know... it can't hurt him. So it seems like of all the universes we've seen so far, this is definitely the most underhanded and sneaky of them. And it looks like he's going to have a plan coming into the next episode of a way to deal with it. He even seems to know a bit about Frieza, which is interesting. I don't know whether that's because they were spying on him and he got that information, or whether they have access to information outside of their universe, because Whis in this episode made it clear that he didn't really know much about the other universes. So I'm wondering if that's going to get explained, or if it's just a throwaway comment. We then cut back to Goku talking to Yema, or maybe that was earlier. But anyway, Goku goes to see Yema and is basically talking about the fact that he needs to go and speak to Frieza. And Yema's like, "You're insane, why on earth would you do this?" And this is when he drops the bombshell that not only is the universe in trouble, because it is, but also there are other universes. Now, this is interesting. So I thought the concept of other universes in the higher gods was a standard they just knew, but it looks like that actually it's a fairly guarded secret, or at least it's not much told. So I thought this was kind of interesting, because I thought Yema being kind of a go-to for the living and the dead for at least Earth would know more. Now, we've never really seen other planets' version of him, so maybe he's just too low down on the food chain for it to really matter. But he does in fact give Goku permission to go see Frieza, and you see the idyllic scene that you've seen in the revival of F, where he's inside his little cocoon and he spins around. Now, it's the art change here that I thought was fantastic. When Goku cuts him down and decides to have a chat with him, it goes all purple and dark, like the color of the evil ki that Frieza exudes. So I wonder, whilst he's in that like egg, whether he's actually, his powers are contained, so like they can't get out. And when he was freed, he was just leaking evil aura across hell, which is pretty cool. I mean, the imagery is beautiful. I love the art and color design. I'll be honest, between you and me, I'm probably going to steal that as a background, because I kind of like it. Yeah, it was cool. And then, of course, we got the discussion between Goku and Frieza. Now, this is the bit that was most interesting and most exciting from last week's episode, when we had the sneaky peek, was we were going to get to finally see them talk as equals, because most other times it's been basically Frieza being all sneery, the evil mustache twirling bad guy, and this time actually they're kind of on level footing. If anything, Frieza's on the back foot. So they're having a discussion, and Frieza essentially refuses, and Goku's like, cool, and you actually see Frieza properly sweat. Although we've seen him kind of do it a few times, it's always nice to watch the bad guy tremble. He does eventually concede and give in, and we get to finally find out what the bargain is. Now, the bargain is he wants to be wished back, providing the universe is saved. Obviously, if there's no universe to go back to, he's kind of doesn't matter. Now, he wants it to be done by the Earth's Dragon Balls, because he doesn't want to risk the gamble that he doesn't get the wish on the Super Dragon Balls, which is clever. I mean, nobody ever said that Frieza was a stupid person, but what have we learnt this season? I mean, this saga, sorry, not this season. What have we learnt during the Tournament of Power, that the arc, that Goku is a liar, like a straight up liar? I don't think that this is an issue at all. I think this is just, it's not going to happen. Goku's just going to lie to him and be like, catch you later, buddy. He did promise, but I don't really think that matters too much. So for those who are thinking Frieza's going to be back for a while, I really don't think that's the case. And I'm happy to swallow my words if that turns out to be the case. I personally don't really give a shit. I never really enjoyed the look of his new form. I much prefer his final form, which is sleeker and smaller. I feel like his bigger form is much too bulky. But this is just a personal opinion. Obviously, you know, I'm sure others do like the character. We then flick back to Universe 6, where we finally get to find out what the conclusion is of the fight. So Kale is absolutely wrecking Kaba to such a point that Caulifla felt the need to step in, which was really cool. And it looks like she went Super Saiyan 2, although it's hard to tell. Now, I know what you're going to say. Super Saiyan 2, there's the lightning, we saw it, it must be the case. Well, if that is indeed the case, that means within one episode she skipped an entire, like, Saiyan transformation, which would be amazing. But I think that's even too quick for them. And also, if she did, I wonder if she's going to teach Kaba how to do it. Now, they do finally manage to bring Kale under power, but it's weird why she went that way. She kind of just went that way due to the fact that maybe there was something going between Kaba and Caulifla, which is kind of a weird love triangle for Saiyans. I don't know if this is a plot line I really want to see go forward, but I am curious to see if Caulifla can control the form. Because if she can, maybe we can see an extension of the form, maybe like Super Saiyan 2, or maybe her tap into the God Key. It is Universe 6 do seem to have a natural, like, I don't know, stepping stone towards these Super Saiyan forms that, like, Universe 7 really had to work for, so it'd be interesting to see that. And then, right at the end of the episode, we skip straight back to Universe 4, where we get the threat. The threat is going to be that in the next episode, or the next couple episodes, Universe 4 are going to try and hinder Universe 7. So I'm curious to see how that goes. And then, finally, the last thing, we get to see the sneaky peek for next week's episode, and it was in brief. It was incredibly short. There was almost nothing in it whatsoever. It was just, we're going to get to see Frieza fight with the Universe 10 guys. I can't see how much more they can squeeze in after this episode. Then we must be literally 1 or 2 episodes short of getting into the Tournament of Power. And I'm super excited to see that right now. Cool. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, of course, leave a like and subscribe. And until next time, peace.